Greetings, fellow hunters. Whilst I am fully aware that we have many larger problems at the minute, today each of you will be going on a mission. We'll be hunting 4 different dragons, some of the most powerful species out there. These 4 dragons we will knock out and try to bring them back to their senses. As whilst dragons can be intelligent species, they can also be wild animals, and these ones in particular seem to have some sort of virus, making them even more dangerous. The first one we'll talk about is the Aliazard, and their species actually has an interesting origin of how they came to be. Legend says, and also research says, that they were once an alien dragon species, who went almost entirely extinct before riding a chunk of their world that was blown off when their planet was destroyed by an asteroid. The dragons that made them almost extinct were called Viltraverns. Now, these dragons had lived in a highly volcanic area, but due to a supervolcano eruption, they had been forced into these dragons' habitat. And because they lived in such the harsh habitat of the supervolcano, the Viltraverns were apex predators, evolved to be the most powerful possible predators they could be. These dragons' abilities include the ability to fly much better than other dragons, likely because they have the helium-like gas within them. And they have also got incredible speed, able to move much faster than other dragons. This particular one we'll be hunting is an apex of its species, the leader of its pack, so we must be cautious so other dragons don't come to protect it. Now, I want to start off these design notes by just thanking you all, because, I at some points thought I would never make it to 80 subscribers. But here we are, and, we've also gotten our first video to more than 1,000 views, which was the Anime Fused with Ben 10 video. I want to thank you all for all your support. But let's get talking about this dragon. Now, in this video, I thought I was going to have much more wyverns than they ended up making. I ended up only making one, which you'll see later. And this one and the Omni-Man dragon, which is the last one, ended up both being your classical dragons, and they both ended up being ones that I wanted to fight with their fists, so I didn't want them to make them too similar, but I think I managed to differentiate them pretty well, making this one a bit more bulky and the Omni-Man dragon a bit thinner but with bigger forearms. This might be one of my new favourite just drawings I've done altogether. And overall, I think this video, whether I was inspired by the fact it's the 80 sub special or not, just ends up being a real show of how good my art has gotten, or at least how much better it's gotten than it used to be. Our next dragon has also quite the interesting origin. This dragon is called the Evern, and they were once a normal dragon species, as you would know them, Chinese dragon species of the longer dragons that are filled with a gas that allows them to float, as well as using mostly magic. Now, the Evern was once a normal Chinese dragon species, but they were enchanted with magic from a nearby village to where they lived, in order to protect the village it lived near. But eventually these dragons escaped, and they were able to form a full species. Now, these dragons are quite powerful. As said, they can float, and they can also move at incredible speeds, able to fly. They're covered in orange hair, but they have mostly pink bodies, and they're surprisingly good at blending in with their environment, despite their size. Now, these dragons, whilst not entirely menacing, they are very quick to try and defend their pack. And these dragons are also known for their main ability, which is a fire breath that can change the properties of whatever it hits. We think this is what was most affected by the enchantment put on these dragons, as it is a very magical fire breath, appearing shades of pink. And so these dragons have the ability to change whatever their fire breath hits. For example, if their fire breath hits a stone, it might change what the stone looks like, or the form of it. If it hits a tree, the tree might become made out of rock. Most of these dragons cannot harness it to a full ability, but it seems that the one we'll be hunting today can. Now, as I said, I have 2 of your classical dragons in this episode. And whilst I think that Alan the Alien Dragon is one of like the best drawings I've ever done, I'm not that happy with the Omni-Man one. You'll see why in a minute, but soon, like, some of you might like it more than me, so make sure to tell me why in the comments. And I was a bit worried about having too many repeats in this episode, but then I got the idea to make Atom Eve a sort of Chinese dragon, being more long, and I don't know why, it doesn't really even make that much sense to me, but I just thought it would be really cool. Now, a lot of these I end up going with a bit of skin tone since they are humans, so they'll often have the same sort of skin tone colour. I think I'll probably repeat on that too much. I probably didn't have to worry about that. Overall, I like this dragon. I think I maybe made it too menacing looking. And the pose, I'm not sure if I like it that much. But overall, again, this is another one of my favourite dragons. I experiment a bit more, doing a bit more cartoony backgrounds than I usually do. Not by that much, but I make it a bit more yellow for this dragon to stand out. And I do what I've been doing a lot in my drawings lately. It's like rings around the head to draw your eye. And I'm really happy with how they came out. This next dragon is called the Multipo. Now, the village that made the Even was actually destroyed by a warlord named Funcha, who had lived for 200 years by absorbing the magic off of the dragons in his army. And he controlled an army of mind-controlled dragons to invade villages. He once tried to put a curse on the dragon that would make it more obedient and more powerful, but it actually broke the mind control. The dragon was able to escape and ended up forming a full species, even if they're still a bit endangered. Similar to the actual first dragon we discussed, which is Aliazard. Now, these dragons are wyverns, and one of their strangest abilities is almost their ability to duplicate. They have a fire breath that comes out not as regular just plumes of fire, but in the form of their own body, to create illusions that can trick people. Now, it's thought these dragons can also duplicate, but there's no full proof of that. These dragons are still very powerful though. Whilst they're wyverns, they don't fly that often, but they're still very powerful in it. Now, scientists are not entirely sure whether these dragons can duplicate or not, but on a mission as dangerous as this, I want you all to treat them as if they can. Now, overall, I mean, I just want to thank you again for 80 subscribers. I mean, we got a huge beast. Like, we've ended up at 84 now. Like, yeah, this video made a while to make, but there was just like a massive spike, and I'm not even sure why. But past that, this dragon is another one of my favourite drawings I've ever done. I don't quite like it quite as much as the Alan the Alien Dragon, but I really like it. And funny enough, the pose ends up reminding me of Pixelotto from My Singing Monsters. And yeah, funny enough, I've actually used them before on this channel in a dragon episode as well. So go check out that if you want. And to be honest, I don't know why. Like, I wasn't particularly excited to pick Multiple for this episode, and I'm not sure why I thought of like the dragon aesthetic, like the being more crocodilian. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess he's a bit tall. I guess he's a bit like taller and lanky, so that kind of works. But like the long snout and like the big grin, I don't know why, but it definitely makes him seem more villainous as a dragon, and I really like that. This is the one wyvern from the episode, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Overall, I don't know why like Multiball ended up being my favourite. I think that's a bit odd, but it did, and I think I do what I've been doing a bit more in my drawings recently. I think I started doing it in the Beast Quest Common Ancestors video with, I think it was K-Knight from that video. But I start blurring the backgrounds. I think that works out really well. Overall, I don't even know why I'm like this drawing so much, but I think it's one of the best. Whilst the previously discussed Viltreverns were very aggressive dragons, I mean, it was in their nature, they had to be aggressive to survive the environment they were in. There were some in the species that fought against these instincts, and we're not entirely sure why. The dragon we hunt last is one of these. We call it the Omnigon. Now, it is descended from some of the Viltreverns that crashed down on Earth after the planet was hit by the asteroid. Most of them stayed there as they could survive, but some of them ended up falling to Earth and ended up interbreeding with other dragon species. Now, whilst this would usually just end up with a lot of dragons that ended up on their own, like as their own class, as solitary dragons, not a species. Some of these dragons formed into a full species, that being the Omnigons. Now, these dragons are mostly just extremely powerful. They're similar to the Aleazards in that they have easier fight than most dragons, but they mostly fight with their fists, and they're very powerful using them. Make sure to be careful, as these dragons are no joke when they start getting going. Now, this is my least favourite drawing from the episode, but I mean, I don't like it as much as most of the drawings I've been doing lately. I think it's still a good drawing, but I've been doing so many good drawings lately, it just doesn't stack up. But you'll see in this one, I actually gave the dragon hair, which you'll see on the last one I did. I gave him, like, scales to represent the hair. I feel like it don't make sense for this dragon to have hair. I feel like it made sense for the Atom Eve dragon, because that's meant to be, like, a more elegant dragon, so hair makes sense, but I don't think it works for this. And I am happy with how I differentiated it from the Aleazard dragon, though. This was actually the first one I did, so I ended up going with a bit weirder body shape, a bit more top-heavy. Overall, like, I think with the others I make the environment work better as well, but I just didn't go with that for this. Overall, I ended up questioning why I even decided to do Invincible as dragons. Like, I hadn't even watched Invincible. But I think the character designs are really cool, and obviously I was really happy to work with all of these. Like, overall, yeah, this one's good, but there's nothing special I have to say about it, really. Like, I feel like it just doesn't really work as well as some of the others I've been doing lately, where I've been experimenting a lot more. Like, you'll see I experimented with my poses a bit, like, and even if I go back to some of my oldest drawings on the channel, like, I don't know, the Bloons TD6 Zombies episode, I really like them drawings, and some of them still stand out as some of my best, but they're not Mechanite drawings, you know? Like, I found a new style for shading and lighting, and that I think I really like. Overall, thank you all for getting to 80 subscribers. I'm really happy with it. And hey, next goal is 100, and at 100 we're doing Ben 10 Fused to Pokemon, so hey, get subbing. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.